What's up, everyone? I hope everyone had a great weekend. I'm sure you did, and there's probably rightful reason for that. I mean, something just right here. That was incredible. How many of you guys feel like all of a sudden it is 2017 all over again? Because wow, does it ever feel like that to you guys? Because it definitely feels like that to me. Now, wow, Bitcoin, wow, Ethereum. This stuff happened. It seemed like, it just kind of happened out of nowhere. And the really beautiful thing that I love about it is I was sitting on here on the live feed on Friday. We were at 97.80, and I was saying, all right, well, I think it's gonna get to 1030, 10,300, and it might go to 11,300. And I literally was like, there's no way that's gonna happen in my head. But it was just incredible to watch that. And how many of you guys joined the journey for that one with me? Because it was absolutely popcorn-esque. Pull the popcorn out and just start eating it. Bitcoin showed us that she don't care what you do or what you say. She gonna do Bitcoin. Corn is king always. If you ever played some of those games where you have to, what is it, Settlers of Catan and stuff like that, corn is king. All right. Bitcoin was beautiful, and Ethereum, wow. Another one I said about 311 it would hit. It hit about 314 and started to correct back down. But these things are just absolutely beautiful, incredible specimens to watch. And I'm really excited today to share stuff with you about what's going to happen next. And I don't know what your name is in real life, Mr. Ape Soon, but throw that in there. But yes, XRP eventually will follow, but it's always slow. So just remember that. Now let's see who's got here. Fami, it's really nice to see you. Been a little while. Eric, Peter, Matt, Richard, anyone else that's watching right now on Facebook or YouTube, guys, just say hello. Let us know that you're here. If you have any questions, I do these Mondays and Fridays for AMA, so you can ask any questions that you want. Don't feel shy. I won't make fun of you. I'm an educator, so it's all about helping you guys along in the journey to become successful and financially free. So let's do this as a team. It's not about me, it's about you, and this is why I do these things, not for myself, because this doesn't pay me and I'm not getting endorsed by anyone right now. So this is really just to help the community grow and help people that want to learn about cryptocurrencies learn about cryptocurrencies. And so I just want to start off with that because it's really important that everyone knows that I'm not getting paid, and I really do want you guys to really be successful, and I'm going to help you along the way. So today I'm going to teach you a new part of the Ichimoku as well, like stuff. A lot of people ask me the question, how do I set my stop loss? Today I'm going to kind of go over that and tell you how to teach you guys how to do that in a couple ways, places that you can do it. Adrian, really nice to see you. You're from Cardiff in the UK. Right on, brother. UK, what? Still probably a little bit early in the morning there. Nice. Right on. Or afternoon. I can't remember how the UK time is. So it's 6 hours. So you're about 11 o'clock in the morning. So around lunch. Cool stuff, brother. So welcome to the show, everyone. Let's get started. As you can see behind me, Bitcoin woke up, and that's kind of the face of even myself. I'm not a bear. I'm a super bull. And everyone who knows me for the last couple of years in this industry knows that I'm almost always bullish. But we really are bullish now, and I've seen some videos about Alesso, who's from New York, and he's really good. He gave a different perspective, but I just think that if we aren't in the bull run right now, it'd be really odd for us not to be. And let's go over why today, how that is, and I'll just jump right in. So first thing, I love this this meme right here. It's not going to go black 5K, and we're going to get all in. And yeah, this is from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, so it's really funny if clip, and we kind of just grab it. We're done. They all start laughing. So it's kind of how I felt about it. Now we're not making fun of people; it's just a funny meme. I like to start with that. Pennsylvania, nice, right on. Am I saying it right, Lirpa? Hope I'm saying that right. Great to have you on here, and let's get into what's going on with Binance. So I have a little bit of a reveal for you guys today. So this is some news that I know is coming. You also know it's coming, but you don't know when. And when you have kind of a timeline of when something's going to happen, you can use that to your benefit and obviously, profit from these types of pieces of information. So I just want to give you guys some really clear instructions of what's going to happen on July the 2nd, okay? And that is the day that you should be marking in your book, the day after Canada Day, a couple days before Independence Day in the US. This is what you need to look for. Lewis, South Africa, right on, getting some different parts of the globe. I'm in Thailand, so we got Asia, we got Africa, we got US, we got UK. This is really cool. Now, let me jump into some really interesting pieces of information. Binance had their first liquidation on a BTC short, and CZ went on and actually trolled the person who did it. Whoever it was, they don't know. Whoever it was, they got trolled. Don't bet against Bitcoin and don't bet against BNB. Now, I don't know if you guys know this, but CZ and Binance are actually holding a huge event in Vietnam that they're sponsoring. Okay, put those pieces together. I'm showing you, number one, this. You're seeing that. Number two, I'm showing you that you shouldn't bet against BNB. Number three, they're hosting a massive event on July 2nd. And what do you think? Who do you think is the main person that's speaking at this event? None other than the man himself, CZ. Now, put these pieces into play. We have Binance margin trading that hasn't, started for everyone else yet. They started doing liquidations with the first 1,000 people that got in. In a week from today, or a week and just a little bit over a week from today, Binance is going to have this huge, massive conference, okay, in Vietnam, on Taipei, sorry, wrong, Taipei. And here's the craziest part. At that conference, I'm going to bet my butt CZ comes out and says margin trading is now officially open for everyone. And why will he say that? Maybe not that exact day it will start, but it's going to be open for everyone. And why would he say that? Here's a very justified reason why he's going to say that. Because A, all those pieces come together. B, we just had regular Binance, if you guys haven't noticed, update. It went into the new platform. So that's ready. They're testing that out live. The next piece, because you see the M on there for margin trading, is margin trading. So this is what I think is going to happen. It's something really important you should learn and know, that Binance very likely on July 2nd is going to announce margin trading is open at this huge conference. Make sure that you don't miss that, because it could, it's really something that personally I am going to do. I have been loading Bitcoin and loading BNB. Now people have been like, why are you loading BNB? Because if this announcement comes out, I'm expecting BNB to not only break the $40 barrier, but push the $45 barrier. So keep that in mind. I'll show you that from another perspective as well. Now, CZ came out and said today that if India wants to ban cryptocurrencies and ban Bitcoin, that's actually going to hurt them more than anything, because the people will then stand up and say, no, I don't agree with this. And I totally agree with CZ that the more it's banned, the more people want it. It's like drugs. In Portugal, what they did about 10, 12 years ago, they made all drugs legal, and their crime rate decreased by 50% in the first few years. The drug use decreased. They set up a lot of programs to help people to deal with drug abuse, and guess what happened? It stopped being a big problem in Portugal. And this is stuff that's going to happen with Bitcoin if they let it happen. But if they don't let it happen, it's like when people are kids and they can't drink alcohol and they go out and they get really drunk because they're like, it's so bad, right? If you make it normalized, Bitcoin won't matter to people. Just to use it, and it won't be a big deal. But they're making it a big deal there, and so that's kind of where CZ is going with this. Is that also on the other side is, if you're in India, you're going to be paying $500 approximately for some time for some people, more than Bitcoin's cost. So if you're paying $10,900 right now for a Bitcoin, in India they're paying $11,400 for the same exact Bitcoin. Kind of seeing what we saw with the kimchi, what's it called? That extra, what do we call that again? The kimchi premium, that's what it's called, back in 2017. Now, a couple other pieces before I jump into the TA. I know you guys are waiting for that. Thanks for being your patient. Mark Zuckerberg, this is a really weird story, okay? And the reason why I call it a weird story is because Mark Zuckerberg stole Facebook and now he's stealing Bitcoin. This is really funny. And here's the reason why. No one can steal Bitcoin. No one owns Bitcoin. No one, you know what I mean? And here's the thing. Facebook is not Bitcoin. Facebook is a stable coin that's going to make digital currencies more normal for the everyday user. All your friends and family members that were saying this is stupid, this is just a coin, it's not worth anything, it's not the same as cash. Well, now they're kind of flipping the script, aren't they? If you show them this stuff and they're going, well, Grayscale and BlackRock and all the big institutions like JP Morgan and banks and Amazon and you just Google, you start seeing that and you go, okay, maybe this is something real, right? And so this kind of stuff where we see that all these things are happening, you're going to see FUD. And this is FUD. They're not stealing Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a decentralized currency. Nobody owns Bitcoin. Even Satoshi Nakamoto, if I'm saying they because it's more than one person for sure. They are alive, and all of them are around. They are not known for a reason. Decentralization means that we, the people, have the control, nobody else. Okay, this is why this industry is so vibrant and so beautiful, is because cryptocurrencies industry is number one, a very decentralized, nobody owns Bitcoin type of it's a society basically of people. And the thing is, we're trying to implement that into the world's population. And so this kind of stuff is really stupid because the Libra is not a cryptocurrency. It has some mechanisms similar to it. Like, for example, the Libra does have some type of proof of stake mechanisms. But will it be big? Probably. Will it be good for everyone? Probably not. Just remember all these things, and that's just all it is. And this is a really funny article. I just want to bring it up. Now, last thing before we get into the charts is really, really important for all of you guys. And for all of you guys, I mean you, your family members, your uncles and your cousins, everyone. Make sure they do not fall victim to cryptocurrency scams. When this market does what you saw it do this past weekend, what you will see is and I'm not talking about a few, I'm talking about thousands of new scams, people trying to take your money that you worked hard for and put it in their own pocket. So if people talk to you and message you first, video call them, make sure you see their face and you know who they are, because 9 times out of 10, maybe even higher than that, those people will not have a video call with you because they're not who they say they are. Always double check with chat group admins, and do not take anything that seems too easy or too good to be true for granted, because it is. If it's I'm giving you money, you give me money, we switch it back, it's too good to be true, right? So don't fall into the scams. Okay, you're gonna see more and more of them. And even Andreas and Antonopoulos, and I said this the other day, there's gonna be new waves of scammers, new types of scams, and things that we haven't seen before. So always do your face checks, okay? Zoom call that person, make sure you see them. Don't trust anyone blindly in this industry. As much as we love it, decentralization means if you send them that money, it is gone, and it is gone forever, okay? Now, to the education, which you guys all love so much, let's get started and look at the charts, because the charts speak volumes to what's happening. First thing we can look at here is this, our total market cap. So as we look over the weekend, actually since June 10th, which is about 14 days ago, 2 weeks today, our market cap, total market cap, has risen by about 37%. That is a lot of money, guys. We're talking about going from $226 billion to $315 billion. This is not some small chunk of change. People are getting excited and getting into this market. That's really cool. Kahar, I don't know what that is, the number. Is that your phone number? Anyways, that's all good. Let's look at the charts now. So we have that. I look at this total. So this is how you find it. Just write total on TradingView, and you can find the total market cap, see where the trend is going. As we can see, we are currently in an uptrend, and it doesn't seem like we're really going to stop anytime soon. Okay, so we go to the next thing. We look at Bitcoin dominance. So this is how dominant Bitcoin is versus all the other altcoins in the whole entire market. So you look at that, it's called BTC.D. And you can look it up and see where are we in accordance to this. So if I move off the fractals and the Ichimoku, make it a really simple chart, we can see that our market cap for Bitcoin is rising, which means what you should not do is get into the altcoins. Not yet anyways. So if you're thinking about, oh, I want to get my favorite altcoins, if this keeps on an uptrend, you do not want to get into altcoins. Here's why. As Bitcoin rises, altcoins will decline if they're against BTC. So as we look up coins, we usually look up BTC, USD, right? No, we don't. We look up something like, if we're looking at other coins, ADA BTC. So ADA just went on a tear, right? Look how much of a tear it went on. If we look at it in US dollar value though, we go ADA USD, look at this. You're gonna actually have earned profit. You see the difference between USD and BTC? There's a huge difference, guys. Absolute opposite. The reason why it's like that, and it's doing this, is because Bitcoin dominance, as it rises, it makes other coins worth less. Marcus, great to see you from St. Louis, Missouri. What's up, brother? Hope you're doing well. I know else is from St. Louis, Missouri. Bitcoin Ben, I believe. Good luck. Good congrats on your guys' Stanley Cup if you watch. All right, now we see these two things. These are very important to look at every single day. Total market cap, Bitcoin dominance. Then look at other coins. I'll show you a really good example of that. BNB. Let's look at BNB over the last week. So BNB had a nice run up. This was that Friday where we had, this is the Friday right here where we were told about, right here was the Friday that we were told about, oh, Binance is not going to be in the US. We had a huge dump. Then we pumped a bit, then we dumped more, then we pumped a bit, then we dumped more against Bitcoin. Okay, now let's look at this against the US dollar. Look at the difference. So in that same time span, it never dumped. It just kept going up. That was the day, that huge dump I showed you against Bitcoin, that was just right here, this little blip. That's it. So when you're looking at these things, you really need to keep attention and pay attention to that. The US dollar, if you care about US dollars and that's what you want to go up, great. But if you left it in Bitcoin, if you had 2 Bitcoin and you left it in Bitcoin, it'd be worth more than BNB at this point. Now, long term, probably not, but something to really take consideration. There's a relationship between BTC's rise and Libra announcement. Absolutely. What do you know that everybody knows? Does everybody know Bitcoin? Yeah, some people heard about it, kind of, sure. How many of your parents have bought or used Facebook before? How many of your friends have used Facebook before? How many of anybody used Facebook? So Facebook, the name, Amazon, Facebook, Starbucks, Google, Microsoft, when these guys are all in the news every day using Bitcoin, it's going to cause people to look at Bitcoin and look at other cryptocurrencies. So what will end up happening, it'll be like the dark horse. Bitcoin's in the middle, kind of hiding in the horse, and then boom, it's going to open up and attack everybody from the inside, right? So Bitcoin it's the currency that will kind of keep the body guessing, if you might say, and really get some people into the wrong side of things for sure. So what am I expecting for BNB before we go into Bitcoin? Here's what I'm looking at for BNB, okay? Now we're going to look at it against US dollar because Bitcoin, we don't know where it's going to go completely at this point. It's kind of, it's got a mind of its own at this point. But if we look at our chart here, we can see that it's very likely that we're going to hit $45 soon. That's what I think we're going to hit. We're going to hit $45 to $50 in the next couple months, especially after Binance comes out with margin trading and keeps doing IEOs. And we still have a few more months till the US has any issue, and the US will find ways. I'm telling you right now, there's always a will, there's always a way. And India just got introduced to BNB in mass scale, like millions and millions of them over there. So that's another thing to keep in mind too. So we're looking at very likely a really beautiful movement on BNB. And if we look on the cloud as well, we'll open up the Ichimoku's here. We can see that we had a nice TK cross right here, still on an uptrend. And what's coming down to is the Kijin bounce, okay? So let me just move this out so you can see a Kijin. Okay, so I use Ichimoku to make trades. I use fractals in Ichimoku. Ichimoku, you guys can look up just on indicators here. Click in here and click Ichimoku and you can find it and click on that. Change your settings to here to 20, 60, 30, 120, or actually 30. It's 20, 60, 120, 30 on normal Ichimoku cloud. So I'll show you that here. 20, 60, 120, 30. That's how you'll do it, okay? So what does it mean when you're trying to place a stop loss? So let's say you're like, all right, looks like BNB is about to shoot back up. It looks like it touched this double bottom right here. Tweezer bottom, if you don't know what that is, it's just when two long wicks come and touch the same level, this fractal level here. If I just delete that, you can see no fractals. We see that's two bottoms right there, so it kind of started to push back up. Now, when I'm looking to put in a stop loss, see, the reason why a lot of us lose trades, and it's really simple, we get really paranoid and scared that we're going to lose, so we cut out of the trade and we don't set it up. Set up your trades, okay? And this is how you can do it. There's a couple places you can look. This is the Kijin, sorry. So the Kijin is a really strong area where price will bounce off of. It's like it is 100% of the time a 50% retracement. Okay, so this area, if it touches, it's going to move back up. And if you look at that, normally it's going to do that. It usually acts as either resistance, as you see here, or will act as support, as you can see down here a bit, or act as support, as you can see kind of right here, as it bounced. It kept going. It's not always perfect though, but it's a really good indicator usually for when you're, trying to figure your stop loss out. There's a couple places. Number one, Kijin. Number two, the bottom of this cloud right here. So this area, so you maybe look into placing it down here or down here, right? And then at this third place you can put your stop loss would be here. Obviously, the further away, the higher the risk, but it depends on how high you're looking to go, and you have to do your risk reward. So when you're doing this, like I showed you guys, right here to here. So if we're doing, I'm just going to just quickly, if we're looking at $43, right, we have to look at our risk versus reward. If I'm going to enter a trade right now at this level, and I'm going to put my stop loss at the Kijin, which is right here, I need to make sure that this R here, 1.5. So I need to at least hit this level at $43 to have a good risk to reward ratio. So on this trade, you would have a pretty good 5% stop loss, 15% gain. It's a 3-to-1 ratio. It's perfect, right? So that'd be a good, if you wanted to be a little bit more loose, you could go down to the bottom of the cloud here, and you're still at a good ratio, 1.5. You always have to be at least 1.5. You don't want to go lower than that. So if you were setting your stop loss at the bottom of this cloud, you would need to probably have a higher, you probably have to look at a higher area to keep that 1.5 R, okay? I'll teach this, guys, in a course. It's coming out. So if you're really confused, just try to take it in as you can. All right, now let's look at Bitcoin. Where is she going? What a Darth Maul we had yesterday. Holy moly, that was crazy. So, and when we're looking at Bitcoin here, let's look at a couple factors right now. All right, so we have a green cloud, which means it's positive. This is a bright future, some people call it. Or we have a Kumo twist down here, which means we went from a not so bright future, a dark area where the price might decrease or stay under. Now we're over the cloud and we have a bright future, meaning we should come up still. We're still in an uptrend. And I mean, we're in a parabolic uptrend if you look at Bitcoin anyways. Now, where would I put my stops on this trade? Okay, so let's say I'm going to get in right now. It looks like we're getting consolidation and starting to pump a little bit. We have what we would call a 3 inside up right here. So that's when we have a long candle that's bearish down, followed by one in the middle and a third one that has to close. So this is still an hour and 34 minutes away. It could come back down and not be a 3 inside up. But if this closes above this level right here, the 3 inside up. And what that means is that it's a very bullish movement on the candlestick. So we could see Bitcoin actually start going on its next movement up. Now, I showed you guys over before the weekend started where I thought we were going, and we got there a lot faster than I thought we were going to get there, to be completely honest. Now, here's what we're looking at in the shorter term with kind of where we could go next. So if we do close above here, I'm eyeing that 11,300 range around here, but don't let that fool you. There's a lot of analysts that I'm friends with that have said, yeah, but we really could get up to this level. So there's two levels we can get to. Now, other opposite end of the spectrum could be this. We could then go down and test this Tenkin. So the Tenkin is another place you can set a stop loss if you want a tighter stop loss. So if we're right now entering a trade and it's 10,900, this stop loss would be set around this level at the 786, right where that blue line is, which is called the Tenkin. And that'll be around 10,486. So don't make too tight of a trade. Don't put too much leverage in a trade. Trade so that you have some wiggle room, so if it does come down and touch that, you're okay. And if you're trading really long term for like Bitcoin hitting 20K, you should even be looking at this, the Kijun, to make your next stop. So if we're gonna map this out really quick, let's show you what I'm talking about. If I'm gonna make a trade right now at this level, and I want to set it at the Kijun, I'm gonna put it right here. So I'm gonna have 10% stop loss. It's pretty considerable. It's $1,100, right? But if I'm eyeing something like 15 to 20K, that's okay. If we get to, let's say 17K before we move down, that would be a beautiful trade. You know, you'd be up 5.5 times. So that'd be fine. Now, it's not really something that I would put in at this point. I don't think we're gonna get that high, but you could set up another trade where you use a Tenkin, right? So if I set up a Tenkin as my stop loss, I'm gonna enter here. I'm gonna set my stop loss right on that 786 where the Tenkin is, and then I'm gonna look for that, that 1100, that 1100 or 12,341, which would give me a 3.4, or even just setting up right here for that one. Now that is too tight, so I wouldn't enter this trade. To be completely honest, I wouldn't enter a trade with less than 1.5. Never enter one with less than 10.5. Guys, if you have any questions, throw them in there. Throw them in there. You just hope bears don't come. Hey, bears can come. Here's the thing, guys. The trend is your friend, and this is why people lose money a lot, okay? You lose money when you see this and you do the opposite. Okay, let me just delete some of these guys because I've already shown you what I'm expecting to happen. So look for that 3 inside up that I've circled here. Look for an hour and 31 minutes from now, no matter where you live in the world, from this live feed this time. If this closes, if this next candle closes above 10,000, let me just zoom in here. If it closes above 10,641, if it closes above that, which is really on its way up there, we could see it move up. It's going to go towards that 11.3 area, this area right here, guys. So make sure that you have that mapped out on your, map it all out. Sure you got it done. We're going to be moving towards this area where we and test this top, and if we get through there, we could go much higher up to that 12,000, even 14,000 is a range that's possible. Rolf, man, nice to see you. Hey, if you guys haven't been doing it, go on Binance Dex. It's actually really cool, and I've been on I'm leading a trading competition on there right now for unification. It's pretty sweet. It's basically just trading and keeping some good volume on the Dex, so that they can. And the thing is, it's a really small project, but so I'm trying to get them and help them to get onto Binance.com because I really, really believe this project is something that's going to do some really beautiful things for a lot of small to medium-sized businesses and enterprise-type businesses for sure. Now, let's jump in and go into Ethereum. So on Ethereum, I know you guys who are watching, you may have been like, all right, yeah, Joel, okay, it was 200, and I think before the weekend it was. What day was that? That was the 22nd. For the weekend, it was sitting before this huge pump around $280. It was right around here, I believe. Somewhere around 5 o'clock. Somewhere around this range, in this area, this time, it was $280. $286. And I said, we'll probably get to 311. Let's look where that went. It definitely went a lot further. And like I said, this is TA. So we make predictions. We're not always right. I'm not always right. I make mistakes just as much as anyone else. So don't think I'm some type of special person here, guys. I'm not. I'm just a normal guy. Put my shoes on just the way everyone else does. We're all just people in this world, and we're all just trying to make it together, and that's what I love about this. So we were eyeing 311. Obviously that changes now because obviously there's been movements in the opposite direction. But when we were at 287, right around here, I believe, we're around there. Somewhere around this area, we were looking at like 311, I think it was 311 that I'd drawn, so about 311, right? So that's really interesting that we got all the way above and past that. Now, how did I know that was going to happen? I'll be completely honest, I didn't. But here's some things that I was looking at before even thinking that this might happen. This is our Tenkin, right? We use it as a stop loss. And generally, if the price keeps coming down here, but we had this Dragonfly Doji, that was a good thing. We were like, all right, it's going to come back up. So, but when we're looking at this, we have a TK cross, which is when the blue line, which is buyers, cross the red line, which are the sellers generally. And we have this 50% retrace all the time, which is following, and we have the Tenkin. So Tenkin is our first line of stop loss that we would use. And look at how really this is a beautiful tool, because if I'm using this Tenkin right here, Yesterday, you guys saw we had a huge dip. We had a Darth Maul dip down to $294. You see where that stop loss would have been perfect? If you kept following when you entered on the start of the weekend around here, which is when I was looking at it, you had started the weekend here and you just follow your stop loss on this Tenkin, you would have never got stopped. You'd still be in the trade. If you hadn't done that and just used straight up Fibonacci, this is what likely would have happened to you. You would have seen this happen. You'd have been in, you would have been like aiming for a certain number like that, and you might have, stopped out at like 297 because you set your stop around there. I don't know exactly how you would have done it. I don't use anyone. I don't use another type of stop loss. Is there a good time of day to enter trades, New York? Yes. Last night, this is actually the time you should have exited. This was about 3 o'clock in the morning. Every time, my time at 3 a.m. Bangkok Standard Time, this is when we either see a huge pump or a huge dump. Okay, so it's something to keep in mind. You either see a big pump or a big dump in that range, 3 o'clock to 7 a.m. And then we usually have a pump again at 7 moves after that. 3 o'clock, then we had another dump at 7 o'clock. And by the time we got to 11, we were starting to pump back up. And look, we're not really far from where we were at the top here. I mean, our local resistance is at 313 for most of the time, and we're at 309. So what do I think is going to happen now? I think we're going to move up more. And we have this really beautiful cloud here telling us there's a lot of pretty strong resistance if it's trying to keep coming up, trying to move up still more. And so let's look at if we're going to enter a trade into ETH, what we would look for next. So when you guys draw this, you're going to draw from the bottom, top, back down for your basement, and fib extension. And what we're going to look for is where are we going next. So very likely, this is also what I told you guys before, a 3 inside up on Ethereum on the 4 hour. Long candle down, second candle. It's almost like a bullish engulfing, and now we're moving on up. Where are we going next? Good question. I think we will come to that 320, very likely test that 320. Will we come down is a hard question to say, but it's possibly we come back down, right? But then try to get towards 336 in the shorter term. In the longer term, I'm aiming $400, somewhere around this range. Why 400? Let's look. Go on to the 2-day chart. Or is it the 3-day chart? I think it's a 3-day chart. Auto this. Where is, I'm on my, hold on, sorry guys. Let me just go to ETHUSD. Not this one. Okay. So another trade in Ichimoku is edge to edge. So what that means is we enter into the cloud, really very bearish cloud on the 3-day candles, long-term trade. We had the TK cross here. We were underneath the cloud, so it'd be hard to enter that point until I saw a test. And now here what you see is a test of the Kijun and the Tenkin. And it held that Tenkin line all the way until it broke out into that cloud. And now we're aiming for this right around here to move into this range. So 450 is not far-fetched, but if we're looking at just the cloud, it might take a couple more days. Looking around here. So if I was entering a trade for a longer term on Ethereum right now, I would be entering here, setting my stop loss at the Tenkin at very least, maybe even here, but that's too much. So I'd sorry about that. I'd enter it and put it right on the Tenkin, and then I would look for this $400 range, right about. Now I'd be aiming there. So we have it's not a perfect range long term. I'd probably even try to get up to that range, but yeah, we'd have to look for that. Now, another thing you can do is turn on fractals. This can also give you another range, but the fractal right here is not helping us because it's too long term. So I would be setting it somewhere around that range. You really should have been getting into that trade here, though. Once you got into the cloud and close in that cloud right here, I would open my trade there. I would have set my stop loss for around the Tenkin right here or the Kijun right there, and then I would have had a long-term trade up to there. So I'd be looking at that 4.8 to 1 ratio. If we stopped out, we stopped out down here, not the end of the world. So make sure you set your risk and your reward before you even start. If you wanted to, you also could have used the Tenkin because it was holding support so long, and you could have even had a higher amount. That's why people are aiming for $400 on Ethereum. Rather be in BTC or alts right now. I would 110% rather be inside of BTC versus or Ethereum, because both are very bullish right now, than any alts. And I'll show you why. So yesterday people were saying to me, how come, because we have our trading system, the Athena trading platform. If you guys don't know about it, just look up athenaproject.trade. We have our own trading system, which automates a lot of this process for you and can follow trades like my own. So we can actually have, someone like myself setting this stuff up for you instead of you doing it yourself, and, taking the emotion out of trading, which is the hardest part. Even I make mistakes still. So no one's perfect in this game. I'm friends with some really good traders though, like FloodMex and Captain Cole on Twitter. So those guys are definitely really helpful and have helped me in my own trading, because you have to learn from somewhere, guys. If you don't learn from someone, you're never going to learn. Take the time, take a couple hours a week and just learn that, and you'll get better at it, a lot better at it. Okay. Now, another place was the fractals that we could set a stop loss. So fractals are these little dots down here. So it kind of matched up on the Tenkin here, but sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you enter a trade right here, that's your fractal. Sometimes you enter a trade right here, and that's your fractal. So it depends on that as well, but let's not talk about that. It's kind of confusing for everyone new. Questions: what's a good entry point for LTC? Now, I'm looking at 1100 actually for LTC. It's very, very bullish. If you guys don't know, this is a beautiful head and shoulders pattern. Head and shoulders. There's a shoulder right here. So we have, why can't I draw a picture? Shoulder right there, head right there, other shoulder. Is it on the daily or the 4 hour? It was on the daily that we. No, it's not on the daily. Where did I see the head and shoulders on? Like right when we had this. Oh, it's actually not showing. Hold on, guys. I gotta remember which time frame it was on. Well, it's pretty darn close here, anyways. So we saw there was a head and shoulders formation. I can't remember if it was now or before our first dump. I think it was before our first dump actually, but doesn't matter. Let's just continue. So we had this head and shoulders pop up. I think it might have been on the hourly. I just can't remember the actual time frame because it changes things a little bit on every time frame. But we had this head and shoulders pattern come in, and then we saw this really big dip, and it was kind of expected to be. Oh, there it is. Sorry, everyone. So at around 1500, we had this. No, it's not here either. Okay, sorry guys. I'm searching for something I can't see anymore. Anyway, we had this really bearish momentum, and I told you guys a while back that Litecoin was gonna do this. Let me see if my chart still has it on there on the Coinbase chart. Still have the lines there. Yes, it does. Well, look at my prediction. So I was thinking that we were definitely going to get a little bit higher before we had this dump, but it doesn't mean that we're done and we're not going to be getting there or anything like that. But here's something to take into consideration. 40 days, which is about there. So on July 1st, it's about 35, 40 days till we actually start to move down towards that halving. So a lot of people think halvings are generally positive. We had our 5 waves up. 1, 2, we had like wave 1, wave 2, wave, I guess you could call this all wave 3 technically, but I would call this wave 3, wave 4, wave 5, and now we're starting to do an ABC. Now, I could be wrong, I'm not an Elliott wave trader, but it definitely does look for it. But if I'm going to get an LTC right now, if we're looking at LTC BTC, this is where I would get in. I would be looking and eyeing this level, right? Back here, I'll be looking and eyeing around either, if we're looking on a larger time frame, this level right here at the low, or want to look at the next swing low would be right around here, around this level. So around 1200 sats. We're almost there, honestly, and it could also be in this 1100 sat range. So anywhere in this box, I'll draw it for you so you can look. Anywhere in a box between here and here would be a good entry point, but it's very bearish right now, so be very careful. Who are those two guys? Who are those two guys to just said? What do you mean, Cody? What do you say that again? I don't understand what you mean. BitTorrent. Okay, let's look at that quick. BTT, BTC. It's been on a very bearish movement too. But here, the thing is, guys, if you look at any altcoins, I'll show you more. Let's look at ETC, BTC. All of them are going to show the exact same pattern. You can go to ADA, BTC. Look at the same thing. Why? Because what I told you guys at the start, Bitcoin dominance. This is why. Bitcoin goes up, all the altcoins go down. And I mean all of them. EOS down. XLM down. Right? Quantum down. Not as bad actually. It's been holding pretty good. So this is something you also look. What software am I using? Oh, Travis, I'm using the guys on Twitter you watch. Oh, the guys are called, there's FloodMex, Thinking USA, Captain Cole, and The Boot. Obviously, if you guys don't know them, check them out. They're really cool. Yes, Nuno, very good one to point out. I'm very bullish on Dent. I've always been, even then it was at 32 sats and went down to 17. I was still bullish. Look at Dent. It's completely gone and done the opposite. And look at what we see here on this 4 hour. Does anyone see this? Because I see something really, really interesting here. If you don't see it, I'm going to show you. This is what we call a cup and handle. And it's breaking out of the cup and handle right now. And how we know it's a confirmed cup and handle is we'll have it go from the top down over here all the way down. It will move down 30% or so at minimum. Let's look at how much it went down. Look at that. A perfect cup and handle. What does that mean? Where will it go? Well, cups and handles, generally, if you draw another side of the cup to make it a circle, that's the area we're aiming for. So we could get all the way up into this range up here. We get back to that 37 sat range. If we do, wow, what a great investment. Even if you held it the whole time, it'd be the same thing as if you held Bitcoin. So that's a good one. Ren is another one. There's some coins that are doing a little bit opposite, and we don't really know exactly why, but they're making beautiful cups and handles. So they might be moving. This one not as much. This one's kind of figuring itself out in the cloud right now. It's in that no trade zone, I call it. A lot of other traders would call this a no trade zone. When you're in the cloud, it's too neutral. There's a lot of sideways action. You don't really get into trades when they're sideways on the. What TRX do I have to say? Okay, that's a good one. I'm not a huge fan of TRX right now. But let's look at it. It's also down, but here's another interesting thing. It looks like it had a nice bottom here, and it had a reversal doji, and it's starting to climb, and we're on the 4 hours, so it's looking like it's trying to hit. Now here's what we might see. It might go into the cloud, do an edge to edge, and go out of the cloud, or it might hit the cloud and then retrace and come back down. So we could go have a nice movement here, and then all of a sudden our next move will be like this, back down to the Tenkan, which would probably be right around here by that point, something around there. So it could have a movement up or through the cloud, you know, come here and touch the cloud and go down, or go up through the cloud from an edge to edge play. Can't tell you right now. I can't foresee the future, but generally when you're under the cloud, there's a really big resistance in the cloud, and you're kind of in between. You know, it's kind of like a no trade for me. I wouldn't get into this one. I don't do super quick swing trades. It's a little bit more volatile. Thoughts on EOS? Give you guys a couple more. Keep asking some questions. If you have any other questions about projects and stuff, I'll definitely happily answer. But remember that whole Binance news thing that we're gonna see very, very likely from Binance CZ on the 2nd of January or July, sorry, come out and say that margin trading is going live. Don't be shocked when you heard it here first. I'm telling you. And I'm telling you because I want you guys to be prepared and win. I want you guys to win. That's really the goal for me in this whole game, is everyone that watches me and is with me is winning. All right, so here we go. We see this kind of like a mini double bottom here. That's a good thing. It's also where there's local resistance from before, not just right now, and I'll show you what I mean by that. We've had resistance in this, support, sorry, in this area for, you know, many different times before in the past. So it's a pretty strong area of support. So that's a good thing. It means we probably won't go lower than there, and then we can see our next lines of, our next lines of resistance would be now. These have to flip and turn into resistance because their price action is below. So it was before above. We all know that when we had hit this area right here. with the announcement of EOS, the voice, and down. So looking at that, we could see very well that if we go really down to our bottom down there, we could see that might come all the way down to the 786 if we break that, but it might come and bounce off here and start moving back up. We go to a little bit shorter time span, you can come and see that it could do a full retracement on this movement right here, and then start its way back up. But EOS is super bearish as well. Most of the cryptocurrencies right now that are not Bitcoin and Ethereum or Dent or Ren, and a couple others that have been kind of in between, they're all bearish. Very bearish. Very, very bearish. Okay. Even XRP, very bearish. If you shorted this from 8,000, you would have made a killing, an absolute killing. And why? It's because XRP follows BTC late. And I'll show you a really good example of this. XRP, do you guys remember when it hit $3? Do you remember what time of year it was when it hit $3? Let me just remind you of this. When it hit $3, this was $3 right around here. That was January 2nd. You guys know when BTC hit its top? You remember? Let me show you. BTC hit its top here, December 18th. XRP always follows Bitcoin after it's already moved. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind and not freak you out, but it's true. We're going to see XRP move after Bitcoin. But here's something to look at here, and it's really, really good piece of information. Right there, right there. We made a nice double bottom. Very strong double bottom. And the last time XRP made a double bottom this strong, 1, 2, look what happened. It moved up. I think that was in September last year, about 200% in like 3 days or 4 days. Does that mean it's going to happen again this time? No. We had a similar size of cloud that we have right now. So it's really hard to say with XRP, but XRP could definitely have some movements. I'm telling you right now. Thanks, Dan. Nice to see you over here, man. I just saw you here. All alts will rise, guys. And this is what I'm trying to explain. Once Bitcoin hits like its localized top and goes sideways for a little bit, with Ethereum going sideways for a little bit, the second thing that happens is we go to high cap coins like TRX, ADA, XLM, EOS, Bitcoin Cash. Those are all going to pump like crazy once we chill. The coins that are going to be in trouble are probably our small cap, low cap coins that don't have a really long history or don't have a really good history for the long term. So they never pumped, or they pumped really fast and dumped, like ICX, like Wanchain. Now, are they dead? No, definitely not. But they're in trouble with all these new technologies and new projects coming out that seem a little bit more sophisticated. So we're gonna see when Bitcoin's done its movements. Some of these coins are definitely going to die off. Some of them, maybe not all of them, but projects that you may know that you kind of thought were good, some of them are going to be leaving the space. Keep that in mind. How often do I do live TA and info sessions? Dan, I do them every Monday and Friday. So today's Monday, start of the week, recap the weekend, and Fridays to kind of go into the weekend. And I'll be doing this most of the time. I am going to be at a conference for the next 3 days. Tonight I go to the VIP dinner, and then I'm at a next block conference in Bangkok for 2 days. That should be interesting. I'll meet Celsius and a couple other big projects there, and CoinMarketCap and a couple other of those guys. And so yeah, I'll give you guys some updates from there as well. So my thoughts on ADA and Stellar. So ADA and Stellar generally move together, Ben. So when we look at things like ADA and Stellar, right? So if we're looking at ADA, two things with ADA, okay? Number one, Shelly. Shelly just came on from testnet. It was late, but it finally came, and people like it. But if we're looking at Bitcoin versus all these other coins, again, we're seeing similar movements. We're seeing these really bottomy areas again. Now, here's the thing, ADA, that we can't really count December because when it came out, everything blew up then. But the last time we touched here, we had touched here a couple times. And then we had this really big movement, and it doesn't look like a big movement, but when you click on here and you go and when you look at the movement it had, it went up 125% last time. Does that mean it's going to happen again against Bitcoin? I don't know. But let's look at ADA. When I was telling people that I was really loving the price was when I'm looking at a US dollar. So it hit about 2.5 cents or 3 cents. And I was telling people I was picking up like 20,000 of them, and they were saying like, why? And I said, like, look at this. Like, it's up to it hit $10 today from 2.7, 2.83 cents. So it's been on a really beautiful tear. Just Bitcoin's been doing better. That's just the reality. Bitcoin's been moving better than everything. Well, it is. We have to be sure that we know. Now, if you guys are watching on Facebook, go on to YouTube as well. Look up Athena Education and click on the subscribe and like and comment on there and do whatever you got to do. I love to read these things later and get feedback from you guys, things that you'd like to see me do. If you have any questions or concerns, if you'd like me to cover something I maybe don't cover normally, throw them in there. First time watching me, brother. Oh, awesome, Lawrence. It's great to see you here. Definitely be back. Awesome. I'll definitely be here for you guys as well. And it's nice to see you, Dan, as well, and everyone else here. So I'll just kind of end off. Someone asked, Rishi was asking how bullish am I on Blabber and what are the best exchanges. So Blabber is a project that I advised. We just sold out. We sold out in 2 rounds, $800,000. It's an app that uses locationary device, and it has social mining. So as you guys actually use the app, like on Facebook, you get nothing. They'll give you something, and advertisers can pay you directly for your data. You get to keep it in your private key. There's a little bit, it's cool, and it's like if you travel and you want to make friends or know where to eat or know where to buy something, all that stuff will be on your phone when you open it on Blabber. So it's a pretty cool project. I don't give financial advice to tell you to buy it or not, but it is on IDAX, will be on OKX on the 1st of July, as well as Coineel. Those are the 3. Nice to see you, Pamela. It's great having you here. Brian, nice to have you. Ben, nice to have you. You guys are all great. And then I'll give you your last one here. NPXS, Rishi. And then we'll do the very, very last one for Raven Coin. Zcash is also going to Moon, Papa. Absolutely. So there's so many coins I could do. I'm gonna end this in a couple minutes because I actually have to go to a VIP dinner for a conference that I'm speaking at on Tuesday and Wednesday. But let me just finish this up for you guys, and then we'll definitely get through it. So MPXS, it's pundy, right? And they have some really cool things going for them, but I mean, on a long-term outlook, it hasn't looked good. But remember, they just released all of their coins into circulation not too long ago. And against Bitcoin, of course, it's not going to look very good. Now, what I think Pundy does have for it is, if you look at this project and you look at it longer term, this definitely is going to come back up when Bitcoin chills. So, and here's the risk to reward here, guys. If we only go up 8 Satoshis or 7, look at this. If we go up 6 Satoshis, it's a 76% gain. This is a great time to grab in this. It's at 8 Satoshis. The lowest it's ever been is 7. 7 to 8 Satoshis for this coin is when I picked it up. I picked it up at 8 Satoshis. And I'm waiting and waiting, and I'll be happy even if it goes up 1 Satoshi. Look at how much it goes up from 1 Satoshi. You put in $1,000, you make $132.50. It goes up 2 Satoshis, you make $260, just like that. So it's one of those really low risk, high reward. But again, if it goes lower, I mean, how much lower can it really go? So you have a lot of good risk to reward ratio here. Let me just double show you how to do that again. Click here, your risk to reward. I mean, if it's 0, it's not gonna happen. So let's say it goes down to like 5 Satoshis, right? And if you go up to back to where it was around here, which is a lot of support, or sorry, a lot of resistance. So you're looking at a 3-to-1 ratio, and it's a lot higher chance that it will go up than down that much. So that's something also to keep in mind when you're looking at alts. To don't start buying them yet, but start looking at them, the ones that you want to have. Yes, I do, Lawrence. We have our own platform called Athena Project.trade. So Athena Project.trade. I'll just throw that in there for you guys if you want to look at it any other time. So just go onto that website, Athena Project.trade. We have a trading bot system that actually does all of it for you and kind of just copies what we're doing, and it goes onto your Telegram, and it's really nice, easy to use platform. There's videos on my YouTube page, so guys check that out. It's called Athena Education. So just check it out over there. The reason why this page is called Block Trade is because YouTube won't let me change it. So that's just the way it is for now. But we'll probably be moving into some other platforms. And the last question was Raven. So Raven Coin does look like it's getting ready. I don't think it's there yet. I looked at it this morning. As you can see, some TA already drawn on that. But here's the thing, okay? Right now it's below where I was looking at it from before. So it's not really doing super great here. I mean, we have to adjust this down. Got a descending triangle. I mean, could this break up? Absolutely. It's just not there yet, in my opinion. I mean, it really is not there yet in my opinion. Now, we did have like this really big move that I called. I said, hey guys, look, it looks like a double bottom, but it just bounced, went up, came back down. We started looking at a buy here, hit the top, and then it came back down. So usually what happens is it will come down, hit here at some point at the bottom like it has. It hit the top one more time, or it will break out. So it's not there yet. Raven probably will be there soon. We still have a little bit of a cloudy, we're underneath the cloud. You know, we're still at the Tenkin's, it's like resistance right now. It's Tenkin and the Kijin are resistance. So what I mean by that is this red line is sellers, buyers. It's resistance. It's trying to come down, so it's not there yet. But just wait for it to kind of break through right here. So when you're looking at what you should be looking for right now is it to kind of get into this cloud, and that would be a good idea. But if you really want to be sure, wait till it breaks out. It will break out of this, and then it will test it like this. It'll come down and test that top of that triangle, and then you'll see it move on its next wave up. Okay, so keep your eyes on that. And if you're going to use Fibonacci tool, that's another thing you can use, a retracement tool. So look bottom to the top. Where would we go? We would look at that 786 would probably be a pretty good area for you to look at over here to try to achieve that 867 level when it does. So maybe it go up to this 50%, back down, test the top, and back to 380. Okay, quick question quickly. Do you think Neo can recover to its heights? I think Neo, actually, it's on my watch list right here. I believe it's on my... Here? Not? All right, let's put it on my watch. Oh, there it is. I believe Neo is going to have a huge movement, guys. Huge movement. I think it won't get to $160 again or anything like that anytime soon. But it's starting to show signs of life again. This might be because of Neo 3.0. And they're definitely trying to push that second layer scalability, you know, competing with the likes of Matic and some other plasma type of projects and in second layer solution projects. So it's really looking bullish. I mean, remember what I told you guys, it will come down and test the Tenkin? Look at exactly what it did. It went up, blew up through it, went through the cloud, came down, and where did it go? Where your stop loss should be. What I was talking about from the start of the episode here was at the Tenkin. This is where your stop loss should be, or a little bit below it, because it can sometimes wick a little bit under. So there you'd have it here. Oh, and look at that. So if you had bought on this is called the Kijin bounce, guys. If you had bought on that, that'd been a beautiful trade for you for 6% in 2 days. Actually, this is 8 hours. It's about 8 hours you would have had that. Yeah, 8 hours. So that would have been a nice, easy one. Anyways, that's pretty much it, guys. I'll leave it at that. It's been a while. It's been a blast. It's great seeing so many new faces on here. Do follow me on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter. It's at Joel Kofshoff. You can see my name in the live description. Go on to YouTube. I'll leave a link here so that you guys can join my YouTube channel. It'd be great to see you guys on there because I can see more stuff on there. And Facebook sometimes, for some reason, can used to be, maybe it's not anymore, but used to kind of block some stuff because I was in crypto and education and stuff. It was kind of weird. So it's great having you all here. I hope you guys have a great, wonderful start of your week. I will see you all again on Friday. So it's actually my birthday on Wednesday, so I'm pretty excited. I'm turning 34 years young. But we'll see you guys then. Have yourselves a great day. You know, and Coach K, that's what I go by. I'll sign it out. See you guys soon. Have a good one, everybody.